As an ambitious, hardworking professional, I'm always asking myself, what's next? I wanted to gain the knowledge and expertise to propel my career and become a leader in my field. So I pursued a graduate degree at Mona School of Business and Management.
Whether you're making the change to a new career or looking to move ahead in your current career, success is within your reach, and we can help you get there. Master your future with Mona School of Business and Management, the Caribbean's premier business school. We offer a diverse suite of globally competitive graduate degrees, including the internationally accredited MBA. As part of the University of the West Indies, ranked in the top 1.5% of universities worldwide, MSBM can provide the skills, knowledge, and expertise you need to master your career development and take charge of your future. Apply online for a graduate degree today. Global Knowledge, Regional Solutions.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this, the first in our series of virtual information sessions for our graduate programs. Thank you for joining us. We're indeed delighted that you have chosen to spend your afternoon with us, but more so that you are considering MSBM. So the choice that you've made today, we don't take it for granted. We know that you have choice. And so the decision for MSBM and in turn UWI is really a great one, as the UWI is the leading institution in the region, internationally ranked and accredited, and recently ranked among the top 1.5% of universities in the world by the Times Higher Education Rankings. And in addition, MSBM's MSc programs and MBA have been ranked among the top 10% of graduate programs in Latin America by EdUniversal. So let me congratulate you for making this first step in pursuing graduate studies and for thinking about investing in yourself in such a time of uncertainty as it is now. When we met last year, we spoke about the pandemic, COVID, and I'm not sure any of us would have dreamt that here we are another year speaking about the COVID situation. But as Winston Churchill said, never waste a crisis. And so the pursuit of a higher degree offers you the opportunity to retool and to position yourselves to take advantage of the many emerging opportunities in the world of business occasioned by this global pandemic. As a school, we too have been agile and flexible and have been able to transition to offer online programs and to continue to offer our students a high quality of education, even during these challenging times. So we have this evening online with us a team of faculty and administrators, and all of us are committed to supporting you on your journey to postgraduate success. So today, this is just the first step, and we are here to guide you. And we hope that in time, we'll be able to welcome you to the MSBM family. I'm now going to invite our Executive Director, Dr. David McBean, to give us the official welcome. Dr. McBean.
Thank you so much, Janice. And welcome to all of our prospective students. And even though it's late in January, a happy new year to you all. As Janice has outlined, MSBM and the UWI are top ranked globally. And I would like to add that our MBA program in particular is accredited by one of the top 3 global accreditation institutions, AMBA, and we're very, very proud of that. And so as you have chosen us, we don't take it for granted, I repeat that, and we consider it a privilege. Many of you will also be returning UWI students, and so we'd like to continue that tradition of academic excellence. You may ask, why invest in a graduate degree at this point? And I think apart from all our accolades and our rankings, you may ask, well, what does that mean for me? And answer it simply by saying that many of our graduates have gone on to take top positions in corporate Jamaica. Of course, we're a business school, so that's primarily where our graduates, especially at the master's level, would end up. So whether it's a Don Webby at Grace Kennedy, who heads up Grace Kennedy, Earl Jarrett, who heads up the Jane Group, Audrey Tugwell Henry, who leads Scotiabank, and most recently, Rear Admiral Weems Gorman, who is now the Chief of Staff for the Jamaica Defense Force. We are proud of our MSBM graduates, and we could sit here all evening listing out the people who have passed through the MSBM and their impact. But we are confident that we will make a difference for you, and you should consider this not as an expense, but as an investment that will reap a lot of rewards in the future. We also would like to assure you, and colleagues will speak a bit more about this later, that given what the pandemic has done and forced us to go online primarily, we still are delivering a world-class education. We do a lot of training in online delivery. We, I think, have made many strides in ensuring that our face-to-face delivery, which was of high caliber, we deliver the same results in the online space. We are hopeful to see many of you in summer, and hopefully I'll be able to meet you face-to-face. But as we have seen these last 2 years, COVID-19 has a lot of tricks. So as we embark on this journey together, I welcome you. Please take care and stay safe. And we look forward to a journey together. Thank you so much for coming this evening.
Thank you, Dr. McBean, for those words of welcome and assurance to our prospective students about MSBM's care and concern for them during this time. I know most of you have come, or all of you have come to hear about the details of these programs. And we'll invite Dr. Lila Rowe Graham, but before she comes, I'm going to we'll have a poll just now. We're curious to find out, how did you hear about today's session? So we'll have a poll launched now. We ask you to just choose one of those. Well, you can have multiple responses, or and then we'll give you a few seconds. So the poll should be on your screen now, and just choose the one answer that is in terms of how did you hear. We'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds more. And then we will just show the results as well, so we can hear that. So, and as we prepare to hear from Dr. Lila Rowe Graham, who is one of the Deputy Executive Directors, and she has responsibility for the MBA and DBA programs here at MSBM. So we'll have the poll results just before Dr. Graham. So there we see it. Website, social media, and email seems to be the top ones, as we might have thought. So thank you for participating. We have a few more during the session, and we welcome Dr. Graham now.
Thank you, Ms. Henlin. Thanks for those remarks. I first also want to just welcome you and also congratulate you for taking, as Ms. Henlin said, the first step in pursuing your further studies. And also, as we spoke about, really investing in the future at this time. What I want to do today is just provide a brief overview of the school itself, and then a little of the details of the graduate programs we offer here at the school. I'll just do, as I said, a brief overview, because we want to ensure that you have the time to get the questions answered that you need to go to the next step of applications. So, as you would know by now, MSBM is considered a key plank of the University of the West Indies. And really, we focus on obviously offering the business and management products. We're the arm of the university that's charged with that. And these products include the undergraduate programs, BSc programs, and a suite of postgraduate degree programs that we'll be discussing today. We also offer short courses and consultancy and research services. So if those are what you're also looking for, we're here to serve you. So as Ms. Henlin spoke about earlier, we think we have a strong value proposition to offer you. We have international recognition, the university as a whole, as Ms. Henlin spoke about, but also the school itself. We have this international recognition in a number of ways. The first is through our accreditation, and our MBA program is accredited by the Association of MBAs, and we have been accredited. The MBA program has been accredited since 2011. We also have several of our MSc and MBA programs ranked in the top 10% by the Latin America by EdUniversal. We also have a number of partnerships that we value. We have a partnership with the World Economic Forum for administering the Global Competitiveness Survey for Jamaica. And we're also an authorized training provider by the Project Management Institute. And project management is one of those courses that is offered as a short course within the school. So if you have a family or friend that's not looking for a graduate program, then we do have a suite of short courses. We have also received local recognition. We were awarded the Best of Chamber for a small enterprise by the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and we're recognized among top 3 winners of the Project Management Organization of the Year Award. So we have received recognition, and I think it's just a sign of the quality that we offer to our students and clients. These accolades align with our vision. Our vision is to be an excellent, globally recognized business school rooted in the Caribbean. So we pride ourselves in our curriculum in offering both the local and international perspective. It's infused throughout the curriculum of all our graduate programs. So what are our graduate programs? We have a suite, as I said, of graduate programs. We are offering this academic year, 2022, 8 graduate programs. The MBA program, and then 7 MSc programs: accounting, marketing and data analytics, enterprise risk management, a program that we offer jointly with the Department of Mathematics. We also have a national security and strategic studies MSc, computer-based information systems, corporate finance, and logistics and supply chain management. So there's a lot of options to choose from, and we want to ensure today's session you find your best fit. In terms of the duration of these programs, the majority of our programs are part-time programs. That means the duration to complete the program is 24 months. 2 of our programs, namely the MSc Accounting and the MSc in Corporate Finance, do have a full-time option. And that duration for the accounting program would be 18 months, and for the corporate finance, 12 months. You can have it completed in a 1 year, the corporate finance. I just want to pause here to state, though, that these programs and the deliveries can only be offered if we have a cohort size that would warrant the offering of this. So if we only have 2 or 3 students applying for the programs, then we'd have to you'd have to defer, or you'd have to choose another option that we offer. In terms of the requirements for entry to our graduate programs, the University of the West Indies itself has a requirement that students applying to our graduate programs should have a GPA of 2.5 or higher. So that's a standard requirement of the University of the West Indies, the Office of Graduate Studies and Research. We do consider cases where the GPA might be slightly below that. We know that when you did your first degree, maybe you weren't fully focused on your academics and you were pursuing other interests. So if it's close to that, and based on the program, this may differ slightly, then you must have some working experience, and we'd want to interview you to ensure that we think you're at the maturity and the level that will allow you to succeed in the program. Now, those are the basic requirements for entry, but particular programs have additional requirements that you'll have to meet. One of the requirements that is hard and fast, we cannot reconsider this requirement, is that of the MBA. The MBA, as we pointed out earlier, is accredited by the Association of MBAs, an international accreditation body, and they state that any student that enters the MBA program must have at least 3 years postgraduate work experience. So that, as I said, is something that's set by our international body. The MSc Accounting does require a degree in accounting. The corporate finance, you must have done some financial management course. You must have some exposure at the undergraduate level. The enterprise risk management has a higher GPA. It's a strongly quantitative program. So it is a requirement of a 3.0 GPA in a quantitative discipline. So whether it's finance, economics, mathematics, those are the students that typically enter the MSc in enterprise risk management. The CBMIS, the computer-based information systems, you should have a first degree in computer science, information systems, or management. And we want to consider years work experience. You may be asked to be interviewed dependent on your experience and your GPA. And the national securities, again, there is an opportunity for those with work experience and mid-management to enter that program. The logistics requires greater than 3 years work experience, and the MSc Marketing and Analytics. Again, this is quite a quantitative program, and so it does require some quantitative skills. How we assess that is based on your first degree, not necessarily what you graduate with, but some of the courses that you would have done in your undergrad degree. Now, most of our programs do have an option for mature students that may not have a first degree, but have over 10 years experience. We have an allowance for a small number of students to enter the program. If, as I said, we'd have to look at the maturity, the years of experience that you have, your position in the organization. And as again, I want to stress that we can only take a few of these students into these programs. In terms of the start dates, the MBA program starts a little bit earlier than the rest of the programs. The MBA program has an immersion period, which I'll talk about. So that program starts in August, whereas the rest of the programs will start in September, and that would be coincide with the regular university calendar. The structure of these programs, the MBA has two offerings. It's not an and, it's an or. So either you come in as an evening student or you come in as a Sunday student. That means if you're an evening student, typically 3 evenings a week, and if Sunday, all day Sunday. And you choose when you come in which of these options you want to be considered for. And we don't really support switching between the options. The courses are not necessarily synchronized, so you can't 1 week be in the evening and 1 week be in the Sunday. You will be assigned to that option. And as I said, formally must be a part of that option throughout the program. The MSCs typically are in the evenings just to point out that the CBMIS program will require you coming, I think it's 2 evenings a week and a Saturday. And again, it's and, not or. So you have to recognize when you commit to this program, you're committed to coming to Saturday classes. Again, the evening classes are typically from 5:30 to 9 p.m. In terms of the MSc Corporate Finance, it's a Sundays from 10 to 5. If you're a part-time students, you'll be required to come on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is a long day, but what we've found is that many students prefer to spend one Sunday with us rather than trying to come after work 3 evenings a week. So we do have that Sunday option is for corporate finance. If you are going to do the corporate finance full-time, then you will be required to come on Sundays and Wednesdays. It may be between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., that's the a.m. note, or 6 p.m. To 9 p.m. The schedule will specify for a particular course, which of those slots you'd be required to come for. The logistics and the marketing are also Sunday options from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. In terms of the MBA delivery, as I said, it is a 24-month program, and you must choose between a Sunday or 3-evening option. The way the program is structured is really 3 phases. We call it the ICE. The immersion period, which is the August period I spoke about. So this is the period where we start a little earlier than the other programs. And why we have done this is that there's some what we call foundation courses that will prepare you for the core courses. So for that first month, you'll be required to come 3 to 4 evenings a week plus the Sundays. So it's not an or during this first month, but an and. Then you'll move into the concepts phase where you do 11 core courses and 4 concentration modules. So we offer within the MBA a number of concentrations, which include information systems, finance, marketing, HR, international business, general management, and whichever else I forgot, they'll type in the chat for me, I know. As I said, during this core period, you'll either be in the evening option or the Sunday option. So the evenings would be 3 evenings between 5:30 and 9, and the Sunday from 7:30 to 6 p.m. When we go into the concentrations, then all the students come together and all the concentration courses are often offered in the evenings between 5:30 and 9. So both groups will be mixed at that point. The final phase of the MBA delivery, which we call the execution phase, is where you bring together all the concepts and skills that you've learned throughout the core, and you put that into practice through solving a real-world organizational problem over, it says 3 months, but it's really more of a 5-month period. And just as Dr. McBean spoke about, this MBA program is AMBER accredited, so it adds another value to the international recognition of this program. And just to point out that I spoke about the execution phase of the MBA program, but all of our graduate programs have some kind of final capstone course. Again, the idea is that it's an opportunity to synthesize the concepts that you've learned throughout the program to solve, or as I said, an organizational problem. We've partnered with organizations locally, and they've been very excited about this component that we've added to our graduate programs. So we go into these organizations, they identify some issues or problems that they want solved, and we assign groups of students to solve these. So that really provides an overview of our programs. As I said, each of you may be here for a different program, so we want to provide the opportunity to have your specific questions answered. but we just wanted to provide an overview of our graduate degree programs. As I spoke about earlier, if you have a family or friend, because I know you're here because you want a graduate program, but if not, if you just want a short course or some specialized training, then we do have a professional services unit, the PSU, here at the school that can provide that. So you can contact us and we can provide details of those services that we offer also. So now that you understand the programs, what's the next step? Obviously, is the application process. So our applications are open. You can go to MSBM website or the university website. It is an online application. You must complete the online application and submit any supporting documents required. If you graduated from the University of the West Indies, then you would not have to request a transcript, formally request a transcript. We can see those transcripts. But what I want to point out is that many of our graduate programs do require work experience. And the way we assess that is through your CV. So most of these programs, which can differ than what you might see on the website of graduate studies, as one of the supporting documents is your CV. And I just also want to point out that going through the online component of the application, your application is not complete until those supporting documents are in. And sometimes the request for transcripts and the recommendations can hold up that process. So you want to start early with requesting those supporting documents. Our application deadline with the rest of the university is currently March the 31st. But as I said, don't wait till that point because the supporting documents can take a while. What we try to do is as soon as your application is complete, we want to process it so you can get a letter of acceptance from us. Some of you may need this letter if you're requiring or requesting financial assistance. They will ask for this letter of acceptance. So you, as I said, you want to try to complete this process as early as possible. So any other information you need, as I said, we have a group of persons online now to answer any questions. At the end of the session, we will have a question and answer. So if you don't get don't get a question answered through the chat, that's another means for getting any further information. But our social media is very active. So you want to be able to check out what's coming up, what events we have, what we have offering. And so please follow us or whatever the terms are now to get up-to-date information from us. So once again, I want to thank you. Thanks for spending your evening with us, afternoon into evening. And again, anything you need clarified, you can do so through the chat or at the end of the question and answer. Thank you very much. Ms. Henley.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. I know that was quite a mouthful, quite a lot of information to imbibe at this moment, but you'll have many other opportunities to get it broken down some more. So I see the Q&A section is already very active. As I mentioned before, we have a team of coordinators online to answer your questions. So we encourage you to keep questions coming. Already I see several answers being given. There are links being placed there as well, which provide some resources for you. So we're using the Q&A for questions, not the chat. So let's try and keep them in the Q&A so everyone can see what's happening there. And the last slide that you saw about social media, I want to endorse that. We encourage you to, as they say, Lila, the term now is like, subscribe, and share. So follow us on our social media platforms, and you definitely will kept abreast of all the developments here at MSBM. And I also would like to say that this is but the first of a series of sessions that we will have this year, leading up to the start of the programs in August. So you'll hear more about the others that we have scheduled, because we also have some program-specific events where if you're interested in the accounting program, for example, and you go to that, then you can drill down and get some specific questions answered about the program. So we have thought of all of that. So keep in touch with us on social media so that you can know when these events are coming up. So thanks again, Dr. Korea. Now I know that for everyone who considers doing a graduate degree, a big part of that consideration is the matter of how do you fund such a program? And we believe that the pursuit of a graduate degree is really one of the biggest investments that you will make in yourselves. And so we really like to think about it as an investment. So I'll now invite Ms. Marilyn Reed, the Director of Finance here at MSBM, to take you through a presentation that speaks about some of the financial obligation as it relates to this investment that you're making in your future self. Ms. Reed?
Good evening, everyone. Let me use this opportunity to thank you for joining us here this evening to get some more information as to how you plan for your tuition fees for your graduate program of choice. So for MSBM, and let me first say also that this information is on our website, and you can also go there and view the information at a time that is convenient to you. Your tuition fee, as Ms. Lynn alluded to earlier, is an investment, and you have to treat it as such. We know this is difficult time, especially during this COVID time, it's very difficult for all of us. And so to think of doing a graduate program that costs say 16,000 US in the case of the MBA is really an investment. And so my encouragement to you this evening is to think about it and start planning early. Planning early is important for your tuition fees. The program, as Dr. Graham would have talked about earlier, is very heavy, and therefore you want to compartmentalize all your planning so that you sort out the tuition fee planning early so that when you get into the program, you're full speed ahead. Okay, so slide. So MSBM is self-financing, and all finance or tuition fees what support the school, and therefore your tuition fee is very important to us. Some of our financial partners, and you will hear from Jen and Lee later in the program, they have a special financing facility for our MBA, for our graduate program. We have Educom, who has a facility for graduate program also, COK, Student Loan Bureau, and I should emphasize here that for the Student Loan Bureau, loan facility is ongoing. You can apply throughout the year, and the rate, last I know, is 10%. I don't think that's changed, and the amount available for graduate programs is $1.2 million. So that's a good portion from your fee for the program of your choice. So some of the program, as we said earlier, the MBA program, we have is 24 months, and the tuition fee is $16,000 US. That amount is billed in US. However, you have the opportunity to pay either in US or Jamaican dollars at an exchange rate to determine at the time when you enter the program. The tuition fee here includes ebooks and course materials, And now for a breakdown of how you would pay your fee. So that immersion period that Dr. Graham spoke about, you would be required to pay a deposit of US 1,600, and thereafter you will pay 2,400 US per semester. So the first section of your program, or first semester of the program, you would require to pay 4,000 US, 1,600 in August, in September 2,400, and thereafter the beginning of each semester, $2,400. And of course, you can pay the amount in either US or Jamaican dollars. Now for the MSc program, we have both full-time and part-time. The accounting and corporate finance, you can do those in full-time or part-time program. Whether you're doing full-time or part-time, the tuition fee is the same, US $10,000 per program. And that is for the accounting, corporate finance, logistics, and marketing, and data analytics. If you're doing the program full-time, then this is a schedule of how you would pay your fee on a semester basis. So US 10,000 is spread over 3 semester period, and it would amount to 3,333.33 each semester. And of course, these amounts are payable at the beginning of each semester. If you're doing part-time, and we have here 4 of the part-time programs that are offered here at MSBM: some accounting, logistics, corporate finance, and marketing and data analytics. The fee also is US $10,000, and because you'll do it over a 2-year period, so you will have 6 semesters, and the semester fee would be $1,666.67 per semester, payable at the beginning of each semester also. For persons who are choosing to do the CBMIS or the MSc National Security and Strategic Studies, your tuition fee is a little less. It means you are special. So the tuition fee is $8,000 US, and the program is over a part-time period. So your tuition fee also would be scheduled over 6 semesters at the rate of $1,333.33 per semester. Now for the ERM MSc costs a little bit more than the other MSc programs. It's US $12,000, and it's a part-time program, so it's scheduled over 24 months. And therefore, your schedule would, over the 6 semesters, will be $2,000 per semester. Some other information as it relates to your tuition fee deadline. And here I want to say, remember, it's about planning and planning early, so you get tuition fee financing arrangements out of the way before your program begins or exam begins and so forth. So for the MBA students, the first deposit would due on the 2nd of August, and then the second payment in that semester would be on the 25th of September. For the other MSc program, the 28th of August is when the first payment is due, just about the time before you start your classes. Semester fee 2 fees are due on the 2nd of January or thereabouts, depending on, I know sometimes the holidays throw it out, but they're about the first Monday, they're about in January. Semester 3, 1st of May for your semester 3 fee. MSBM has an arrangement with the Credit Bureau where if we think necessary, we can ask to check access credit information of our students, and this would be for information for students who are asking to be paid for payment plans or such like that. We don't want to do this, but if we have to, we'll do it. But we know you are persons who will make arrangements from early for your fees, and therefore we may not have any reason to use this facility, but we're just advising you that it is there. Miscellaneous fee is a fee that is charged by the university. For those of you who may have done your first degree here, you will be aware of miscellaneous fees and what is covered: health insurance, all attachment fees, skill fee, and all of those stuff. We don't know what the rate for the 2022-23 academic year could be as yet, but what it was for this current year was $16,717. If it increases, it usually increases by about $2,500. So you'll have an idea of what it would move to. I'm not sure what will happen for this coming year. It is payable applicable to all programs, so all students registering are expected to pay the miscellaneous fee. We collect the amount and we pay it over to the university. The fee is payable in the first semester. So once you register for your first semester, that amount is paid, and that is for the year. So you paid once per year. Some contact information for me: that's my email address, merlin.reed@uemona.edu.jm, or you can use the MSBM accounting email, which is msbm-accounting@uemona.edu.jm, our telephone contact. And of course, this information is also on the website, so you feel free to contact us at any time. You can need clarification and so forth. We are here this evening also to answer any questions you may have from now about your tuition fee and any planning arrangements. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to see you in summer of this year. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ms. Emily.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. And again, I know that was a lot of information, but as she said, it's on the website, and I believe that it will be placed in the Q&A tab. And let me just remind our attendees that we ask that you use the Q&A tab versus a chat for putting your questions. So let's try and use the Q&A tab so we can have all the questions answered. So I'm sure the link for the tuition guideline will also be placed in that section. So at your own convenience, you can peruse that document to just have a sense of all these due dates that she mentioned, etc. So that's there. Thank you very much, Ms. Reed. One of the benefits too of pursuing your degree with MSBM is that MSBM has many partners, many partnerships in various spheres, and one of them is in the area of providing tuition financing. So a few years ago, JMB Bank actually designed a special loan product for MSBM's graduate students. And so we'll now just get an overview of that program, and we thank JMB Bank for doing this for us, a special loan facility for MSBM graduate students. We'll now see an overview of that. Thank you. So that was a paid advertisement, but the information is also on our website. So you can actually, we have their contact information for representatives from JMMB Bank so that you may contact them directly to get the information. But many students have benefited from this package over the past few years, and we encourage you to also seek that out. But as Ms. Reed pointed out earlier, we also have other partners who have worked with us to offer facilities to our graduate students. So at this point in the program, we're always eager to showcase our alumni. I think for MSBM, one of our proudest, I would say, achievements, we are happy always to see our graduates distinguish themselves both locally and overseas, those who are moving up the ranks in corporate or those who have started their own businesses. But we're always very pleased to be able to say, there goes an MSBM graduate. And so this evening, we're going to showcase two of them. We begin first with Mr. Neil Lawrence. He's a group commercial director at Interlink Group, having done the MSc in computer-based information, management information systems. And he'll be followed by Mrs. Audrey Tugwell Henry, and she's the president and CEO of Scotia Group Jamaica Limited, and she did the MBA. So we'll have Neil first, followed by Audrey Tugwell Henry.
Hi, I am Neil Lawrence, a proud graduate of Mona School of Business and Management, where I pursued an MSc in computer-based management information systems. I am the commercial director for Interlink Group, formerly Facey Telecom, with responsibility for 18 countries across the Caribbean, Central America, and the South Pacific. I'm also the co-founder for Musgrave Pharmacy and tech startup Growth Tech, who pioneered the Wi-Fi on the JUTC buses. Having the masters, I believe, helped me along my way to get exposure to certain persons in certain positions, certain opportunities that otherwise I may not have gotten. The demands from top enterprises now and recruiters is to have a master's degree to even get an interview. So it's like wiper blades to a car. So it's important to ensure that you upskill yourself to be able to have those opportunities in the future.
My name is Audrey Tugwell Henry, and I'm President and CEO of Scotia Group Jamaica. I made the decision to pursue my MBA at the Mona School of Business and Management. I felt that this was necessary as I continued my career path in banking, as it was my intention to take my career from the management level to the executive level. The program was rigorous and exposed me not only to key management disciplines, but to a cadre of like-minded persons. Making the move to study at the Mona School of Business and Management was one of the best decisions that I have ever made. I have truly benefited from the program, and I would recommend it to you.
Thank you, Neil and Audrey. And as I said, they represent thousands of graduates from MSBM. So we've showcased only two here, but there are many all over the world, of which we are all proud, and many of our staff members online today too are graduates of the MSBM. So we're proud of all our graduates. So we've come to that point in the program where we will take some of the questions. So already I see that the Q&A section has been abuzz with activity. Many persons asking questions, many people, and many answers have been given from the coordinators on hand. So what we'll do, we'll showcase a few of those questions and highlight them on screen. I'll read them aloud and actually ask our panel comprising Dr. Lila Rowe Graham, Ms. Merlene Reed, and Dr. Indiana Minter-Coy to just answer these questions aloud in your hearing. Some persons may have missed some of the responses in the Q&A segment. So when we do it this way, it means that everyone can hear the questions and also hear some of the answers. We won't be able to take all of them, of course, but we'll highlight a few of them. So we'll begin with, let's see, the first question. So the first question, is there an application fee? And I'll just answer that. There is no application fee. Is Dr. Graham, just to misread, just to make yourselves available with cameras and stuff so that we can follow through with the questions easily. So that's the first question, no application fee. We move on. And when is the application deadline for graduate programs? I think in Dr. Graham's presentation, she had mentioned March 31, 2022. Sometimes there's an extension, but there's no guarantee for that. So we encourage persons to start the process from now. Dr. Graham, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think you stated it. And I had said in my presentation that the application is not complete until the supporting documentation is also in. So we can't start processing until that point. There can be some delays in getting the supporting document, the transcripts and the references. So we encourage everyone to start that early.
Okay, and I know in the Q&A segment, a link has been placed for a document we call an application guide. So it can assist you in terms of the requirements, etc., to make the process a bit easier. Okay, let's have the next question. Will a recording of this evening's session be made available to us? So we will in fact upload the event to our YouTube channel, but we'll send those of you who registered, and everybody online would have registered, we'll send you an email with a link to access that. Lila, you want to take that? When do classes start?
Sure. For the MBA, as I had pointed out in the presentation, the MBA will start August. I think probably at the end of the first week into the second week of August. One of the coordinators will just verify that in the chat, but I think that's the case. And then the MSCs in September with the rest of the normal UE schedule.
Okay, thank you. So what is the practiced method of teaching? Example, face-to-face, online, and or blended approach? You want to just take that, please?
Sure. We have to talk pre and post pandemic, right? So pre-pandemic, we were fully face-to-face. We did have a Western campus option in Montego Bay and a Mona option for some of the programs. Not all programs had both options. Obviously, since the pandemic, we have been online, and Dr. McBean spoke about that earlier. We have invested a great deal of resources in training our faculty in teaching online. So we are still online, and I guess the new variant has caused this to continue. We're not sure up until what point, but given the benefits of online, we expect, as we are allowed to open up more and more, we expect it to move to more of a blended approach, because we see the benefits online and obviously the benefits of face-to-face. So we expect to end up in a blended mode of delivery. But just to point out, because I know it was asked in the chat, the examinations of these courses are being done now face-to-face. So even while we're online and you can be remote wherever you want, you will be required under UE guidelines to be here for the examinations.
Okay, thank you for that response. The next question, are students with a first degree from an approved university with a minimum GPA of 2.5 or above without the required work experience allowed to apply for a graduate degree?
You want me to take that too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
is Dr. Mintakori on?
Well, for the MBA, no. And I have to point that out. I tried to emphasize it in the presentation that the MBA requires a 3 years post-grad work experience because of our accreditation. It's a requirement of the accreditation body. Some of the MSCs in the table we provided do have some requirements in terms of work experience. Dr. Mintakoy may be able to answer or speak to whether that can be waived or not and how hard and fast it is. But some do have as a preference the work experience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Graham, and good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and I see the questions are coming in, and the showing is quite commendable. So we're truly, as has been mentioned, grateful for your time with us this evening. So as Dr. Graham just mentioned, there is the requirement for work experience if you do not have a GPA of 2.5 and above. If you have a GPA of 2.5 and above, and you're from a university that is not the University of the West Indies, then yes, we do consider you, and we do not then require you to have work experience. So the work experience comes in where you do not have the required GPA. And this is important because it means that you would have had some experience in the field, and that experience would help to balance what we see as perhaps gaps in the academic qualifications. In some cases, we do recommend that students do an undergraduate course if we accept you and you do not have the required GPA. And this could be a course that's done in a semester before you're given full acceptance into a program. But it goes by program, and in some cases, we also do the interview, as was mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, both of you, for those responses. And persons can always follow up with just getting more specific details about particular programs. So that table that was shown earlier, for example, and let me just mention again, everyone, that this is but the first of a series of events that we will have. And we call this a general information session. But we do have a series of lunch and learn sessions, which are program specific. So again, if you're interested in, say, the logistics and supply chain program, then that session is upcoming. And we invite you to go there where you can ask very, very detailed questions about particular programs. So the next question, if someone does not meet all the requirements for the MBA program, can they apply as a specially admitted student to complete qualifying courses? And if they're then successful in these courses, apply for the MBA? Dr. Graham, please take that one.
Yes, we have had some cases where we thought the students were weak and, or not, I shouldn't say weak, not yet ready for the MBA program. And so we have asked them to demonstrate their readiness through some of these courses. However, we still, at that point, when you do those specially admitted courses, we still have to consider the case for you to transfer over to the MBA. So we'll specify if you're given 2 courses that, for example, depending on your background, you might need a B+ in the particular course you do to be admitted. And also, again, I have to say that you will not be admitted. If we wouldn't even recommend you for specially admitted if we know or we see that you won't meet the work requirements anyway within that time frame. We wouldn't give you specially admitted for more than 2 or 3 courses. It's really about your performance. So if we see that you couldn't come as specially admitted for a year and then transfer into the MBA program, we'd give you, as I said, 2 or 3 courses to do over a semester to see how you perform. But you would have to also be meeting the work requirement or work experience requirement also to come in. I hope that was clear.
Okay, thank you. And just to remind everyone too, that after we've read through the questions that we've selected, the team of coordinators and MSBM representatives will remain online for an additional 10 minutes to just take some more questions in the Q&A segment. So that's another opportunity to get any further clarification if you may need. So let's take the next question. How do you go about changing your program of study after you have submitted your application?
I'll take that one, Janice. So once you've submitted your application, you decide you want to change the program, you can contact, I'm hoping one of my colleagues will put the link in the email in the chat. It's postgrad@uwimona.edu.jm. So Ms. Georgia Bennett, who's the assistant registrar, can be contacted via that email address. That's postgrad@uwimona.edu.jm. Of course, you can also contact the MSBM or contact regarding that issue would be Mrs. Dawn Morgan, who is our Student and Alumni Services Officer. And she can be reached at Dawn, D-A-W-N, .morgan@uwimona.edu.jm.
And just to add to Dr. Minter-Coy, just to keep in mind too that the university does allow you to apply for more than one graduate program. So it is possible, if it's still in the early stages, that you can add a program also to the current application you have in the system. And again, the same information that Dr. Minter-Coy provided for contacting someone, you can do that. But as I said, if it's the early days, it's in the system, you can probably add a program, another program option for yourself.
Okay, thank you. And some of the resources just mentioned will be placed there for you in the Q&A segment. Next question, does the ACCA qualification count as the equivalent of a bachelor's degree for the purposes of the MBA? Dr. Graham?
Yes, we do consider the ACCA qualification. I think they'll put it in the chat. Somebody will verify it in the chat for me. I think it's level 2. AC, is that the right term? ACCA qualification, but we do consider it, and we'll put that in the chat. What level is required for qualification?
Okay, then, and the next question has to do with the referee's report. Who are the persons that can complete our referee's report?
So the referee's report can actually be done by your pastor, justice of the peace, and attorney at law. Also the academic supervisor. So you may have studied at the UE or any university, and you have someone who can speak to your academic credentials or competencies, then that person can also do the report for you. You can also have your employer or supervisor do that referee's report for you as well.
Okay, thank you. And I noticed that in the, and I'm using Q&A segment, deliberate versus chat, a link has been placed with some FAQs and also the application guide, and those documents also provide the details as it relates to referees. So this one is not a question exactly, but it is an invitation to, let's please speak on the mature entry aspect of applications. Indiana, would you like to take that?
Thanks, and thanks for that question. It's a very important one. So we do recognize that persons, I guess you come to certain levels of development across your years as you grow older. Some may not have had the benefit of having obtained a first degree. And so we recognize the diversity among persons, their goals and lifespan. And so we do have the allowance for persons to qualify under the mature student designation. Here, this means basically we look at your experience that you've accumulated, and we generally ask for around 10 years work experience. We also, as part of the application process, you would have submitted your CVs. And so the CVs will give us an opportunity to assess your experience over the 10 years. In the case of, for instance, the National Security and Strategic Studies Program, we ask for persons who've had substantial experience, including having obtained a managerial or senior level position in a related field, in this case, the security forces. And so we do assess such applicants on a case-by-case basis. So what I would encourage you to do as well, when you're actually submitting your application, be detailed in your CV in terms of the additional qualifications. You may have done some certification, special training courses along the way, include those in the application, because then these help us to build a profile as to your competence and your ability to actually do the program successfully. And this is important for us because we value you, we value the feedback that you give when you go. So we are not going to take you into the programs just to make up our numbers. We actually want to make sure that we give you a good chance to do well in the program. I don't know if there's a more specific question related to that, or I hope I've addressed the intent behind the question.
I just want to add one thing to Dr. Mintakoi's explanation, or for the MBA specifically. I'm not sure if it's true for all MSCs, Dr. Mintakoi, but for the MBA, we only have a particular percentage, 10% of the class could be those mature students. And so I just want to point out, for the MBA, we do allow it, but it ends up being about, as I said, 10% of the class size with this mature entry. So we have to be restrictive. And so typically what we have to do is wait to see what the pool looks like, and then decide from that pool who we can admit for this academic year. So it may take a little longer to process those for us in the MBA program. So just wanted to make that clear to everyone.
Thanks for that, because that's an important point. So we have a requirement where we don't go beyond a certain percentage of the persons. So we can expect that around 1 or 2 persons may get into the program each year based on that designation. So that's an important point to make. Thank you very much.
Perhaps either of you two may want to just speak a bit about interviews, the fact that persons may be contacted as part of the process to have an interview done. So perhaps either of you might want to.
Well,
yes, go ahead, Dr. Mintakoi.
Okay, thanks. So for sure, we do have that. We reserve that right to interview some of our applicants, particularly applicants who may not meet the required GPA. And in some cases, for mature applicants, we also want to interview to get a closer look at your ability to do well in the program. And I know some will ask the question, how much can you really get out of an interview? But we would have a panel which would include lecturers who you would engage with in the program. And so they would be able to talk with you to get a sense of your level of interest and so on in the program. So the interviews, we would reach out to you through our unit heads. That's an important point to make as well, that each program that is being featured here comes under a specific unit that would have a unit head who manages that program. And so the unit head would be the one who would arrange for that interview and who would lead that interview process with you. You'd get sufficient time, of course, to attend and to prepare. And of course, whatever documentation, whatever certificates you may have earned along the way for the mature students, then take those along with you and feature them. This is your opportunity to showcase what you've done along the years to merit you being given an opportunity to do the program. I don't know if there's something that you'd like to add as well, Dr. Graham.
I think that covers it. I think, as you said, ensuring that the CV is up to date with any training and certification you've done is an important point.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you both very much. Ms. Reed, I think the next question is for you. Are there payment plans where the amount due each semester can be paid over each month in the semester? Unmute, please.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Henley. Yes, we have a payment plan where a student can choose to pay the full fee upfront, or they can pay in 2 parts or 3 parts. That is over the 3 months of the first 3 months of the semester. Some semesters are a little longer than others. So for January, for example, the semester 2, you pay January, February, March, you sit your exam in April. So yes, the answer is yes. But
Okay.
for that too, that you are required to write us by way of email and advise us that you wish to choose this payment plan so we can put the necessary facility in place to assist you.
Okay, thank you. So the answer to that is yes. Okay. This other question for you as well, Ms. Reed. Will there be a fixed FX rate for each academic year?
Thank you, Ms. Enlin. So we have been using exchange rates, and the rates are decided and confirmed at the beginning of each academic year. We have been, so at each year we look at what is happening in the environment, and we advise you of the rate up front, so you are aware of what the exchange rate will be. So the answer is
okay.
And it's for academic year and not program. So it's each academic year.
Yes, for each academic year. And it's fixed.
Yes.
That's the question. All right. Thank you. Let's have another question. How soon after an application is submitted would the applicant be contacted? Dr. Graham, you want to take that?
Sure. As we said, the applications are now open, and typically we process every week the applications that are completed. And I want to stress that again, because I know many persons contact us after submitting the online application and think that the process is complete. But the graduate studies will not allow us to process these until the supporting document are also there. So that's the point at which the application has been completed. So typically after that, we will process it, that we recommend an offer to the student, to the applicant, and then the Office of Graduate Studies also has to process it, and they're the ones that you will hear from whether you have been accepted or not. They're the final decision maker in that process. And so once they start processing, typically 2 weeks after that, it reaches them, they'll send the offer out to the students.
Okay, thank you. So I think an important point that you've made is that submitting online is not the end of the process, but submitting all the required documentation is very important so that the application can be deemed complete so that the processing can begin. I think that's a very important.
Yes, and if anyone, I see someone in the chat pointing out, if there's anybody that has submitted all their documentation and have been informed by Graduate Studies that everything is in, just send us an email. I think Indiana provided email contacts, but we can put it in the chat and we'll look into that for you.
Okay, thank you very much. And a very significant question now being asked. Ms. Reed, I'm going to ask you to take this one. Are there any scholarships available at MSBM?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Enlin. Currently, we have 3 scholarships that are available from the JMMB John Duncan Foundation. Therefore, the accounting, MSc Accounting and MSc Corporate Finance program. So 2 each year for the accounting and 1 for corporate finance so far. Last year, we had one from the Dennis Chung family.
Kenneth Chung Memorial.
Memorial, right. For the MSc Accounting. We are not sure if this will be ongoing on an annual basis. So, but if that is ongoing, then we will have 3 for accounting and 1 for MSc Corporate Finance. But for now, that's the only one we have available.
Okay, thank you. And I think typically organizations are more inclined to offer scholarships for persons pursuing their first degree and undergraduate degree. So there really are not many available postgraduate scholarships, but we are very grateful for those that we've had. We've had the JMMB John Duncan Scholarship for a number of years now, and we've had the Kenneth Chung Memorial Scholarship for 2 years now, last year and this year. So we remain grateful to those donors for those scholarships, and we're always seeking to get others, but the response most times is that they prefer to fund first degrees, and perhaps we can understand that. We have about 2 or 3 questions left, so let's have those. Is there one? Next question. And may I remind everyone that we will remain online for, once we've come to the official close of the program, the team will remain online to answer more questions in the Q&A segment. So I think we have, we've answered the scholarships question, so we can take the next question projected on screen. And then we continue to answer questions as the meeting progresses. So this question here, can I apply for an MBA if I did a non-business degree, first degree, example, electrical engineering? Dr. Graham, please.
Yeah, yes, definitely you can. And we don't require a business first degree to do an MBA. We expect for an MBA that different persons from different first degrees will apply for that program. And we view engineering as a strong quantitative program, so you'd be prepared for those courses in the MBA program. So yes, definitely we allow that.
Okay, perhaps I might just add, is there any special requirement of persons without a non-degree, non-business first degree? For them, any special?
For the MBA?
Yes.
No, not for the MBA, no.
Okay. All right, so we have our final question coming up, and by final question, I mean this way, projected, where we'll answer in your hearing, but we continue to take the questions as they come up. So this last question is, what does coursework entail? For example, is it individual work, group work, etc.? So we'll have, let me ask Dr. Mintakor, since Dr. Graham did the last question.
Thank you for that question. So basically the coursework each course will have a course outline that will give a guide as to what the coursework is going to be about. And that first class is going to be critical in hearing what is going to take place in that course. But generally, the coursework will include, of course, individual work. In some cases, it will include group work. And so in essence, the approach will vary course to course, but you can expect, of course, that you will do individual work. And in some cases, there will be group work. And this is important, again, to have the diverse methods of delivery and engagement, because each element will bring out a different quality. I know sometimes we go to a classroom and we think that the learning is mainly or only in the content which is presented on a board, but oftentimes the engagement, the networking, the collaboration and teamwork, these are important elements in the program itself, in your learning process. And again, important again, beyond the actual classroom. So I often say the soft skills that we develop in engaging through teamwork, group work, those are essential skills for you as you develop, as you network and form your contacts and relations that will be part of you as you go forward beyond the classroom. So yes, it will be a diverse method of engagement.
And Dr. Mintakor, though this is not coursework per se, perhaps you may speak a bit about some of the other ways that this school helps to develop holistic students through interventions such as the GLOSS seminars, for example. Perhaps you might just speak a bit about that.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Henlin. So I mentioned just now that one of the important things for us is actually developing the soft skills of our students. And I know many of you, you're already in corporate, you're in managerial positions in some cases. But one of the things that we've discovered a lot of times, you may get your distinctions and so on. And so it's said that people are often hired for the qualifications and they're fired for personality. And so while we take our credentials seriously, we have all our accreditation and so on, we also believe that persons who go through the MSBM, we have a responsibility to also assist you in honing the soft skills that are going to be useful for you in getting by, in progressing when you've left or university. And so we've introduced a number of sessions, for instance, our GLOSS series that was just mentioned. And through these sessions that we introduced throughout your program of study, we engage you around different qualities and different skills, whether it be self-management, learning how to manage work and life balance, programs that deal with, and this is important too, we talk about how you can balance the different demands in your life. So many of you are here now, we've done this session in the evening because we're aware you have families, you have lives outside of school, you have work. And that is that's a demanding mix. And so even in terms of how you're able to manage and balance the different missions in your life, we also have sessions that help you towards that. In the case of the MBA program in particular, the first, Dr. Graham, the first month,
yes.
Students are engaged around sessions, teamwork, team building, and so on. And so these themes also carry through in all the graduate programs where we try to introduce students to certain study skills, how to network, how to build teams, and how to manage in teams. It's important, you know, one of our graduates who we featured a little earlier in the session, he spoke about the importance of networking. And I see that one of the questions, I believe, and someone asked about the CBMIS, what kind of jobs can you get with a CBMIS degree? And so what I want to implore you to think, you are going to get your distinctions, you're going to work hard to get your distinctions, but also understand that one of our value propositions is the kind of engagement, the networking, the relationships, professional and personal relationships that you'll build when you come to the Mona School of Business and Management. And these will be important beyond your period of study with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Comprehensive response there, but thought it was important that we allow the students to know that in addition to the academic pursuit, that we're also interested in a more wholesome and broader development. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of what I hope has been a very meaningful session to all of you. And before I just want to thank you all for coming. I mean, we cannot say that often enough, that we do appreciate the time that you have spent with us this evening, all of this time with us, for the level of engagement. Thank you for all those questions and comments. We really appreciate that and the interest in our school. And as we said, you will hear more from us. Before you go, I want to just, we'll just have another poll. We want to know how many people have submitted their application so far. So we'll launch this poll now. Simple answer, yes or no. So we have a sense of the persons we have with us. Hopefully we'll see. So please use the poll, Cassandra. The poll is projected. It will remain for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And then we see the results. We just want to know. And of course, even without seeing the responses, so most persons have not yet, but we are encouraged that by being here this evening, it means that when you go home and over the course of the next week or weeks, that will change. So for those who have already submitted, we thank you. And for those who have not yet, we encourage you to start the process as soon as possible. And we remind you of the resources that we have to assist you. Then we also want to know the programs that persons are interested in. So we'll have another poll immediately now about just choose the program of choice, which would be your first choice, because we're aware that you can apply for more than one program, but just indicate your program of first choice. So we have a sense. So we have all of them listed there: the MBA, MSc Accounting, Computer-Based Management Information Systems, Corporate Finance, Enterprise Risk Management, Logistics and Supply Chain Management, Marketing and Data Analytics, National Security and Strategic Studies. The poll will remain for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we see the responses there. So most persons, 44% MBA, but we have interest in all our programs, and that makes us happy. So we provided quite a menu of programs so everyone can find something to pursue. So we thank you for that. And again, we thank you for coming, for participating. As I said before, this is but the first of a series of events, and we'll show you on screen now the other dates for the events upcoming. But of course, we will share that information via email with all of you. And we remind you, we will remain online until about 7:35, where you can ask questions in the Q&A segment in the chat, and we have persons who will answer them for you. So we await we should be seeing online, but if we don't get that, we will definitely share that via email. Is coming up now. This is what we call a roadmap, your roadmap to success. So we began with today's general session, January 26th, and we continue up until April 6th, where we end with a special session for the MBA. We will send this to you by email, but we just want you to know that we have a series of events planned to facilitate all of your questions, all of your queries, all of your concerns. So thank you so much again. Don't all run off. Now we will remain until 7:35 to answer more questions in the chat. Thank you to all the organizers, the marketing team, and to the coordinators. Thank you, Doctors Minter Coy and Graham, for your presentations. Thank you, Ms. Reed, for your presentation. Dr. McBean, for your presentation as well. All who have put this together, but most of all to our attendees who have come and have participated in the manner that they did. We appreciate the engagement and the interest. So we'll continue online with the questions. For those who have to leave, we understand, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.